All right, I'm on the farm today, and the repairs on the Model 50 Massey continue. If you recall, some months back, I was trying to lift actually that square bale right there with the front end loader on my Model 50 Massey. This is not a Massey Ferguson. Green indicates it's a John Deere. So does the decal. In any event, I blew a hose and immediately backed this thing out until fluid stopped squirting out of the hole, and I didn't want to cause any damage, so I just backed it out as quick as I could and shut it down. Well, I ordered a hose, and I was going to have one made, but by the time I jury rigged the fitting to go on this cylinder, it was pretty much even money just buying a hose that was made, allegedly made to fit. So I'm gonna try to put that on here today, and then see if I can get a little fluid in this loader and see if I can get it to work again. So hang on, I'll be back. So right here is the new hose kind of going around, and this is the old hose. It's got kind of a brass fitting, a brass tube that goes into it, and there was an O-ring down here, and then the ends of the fittings on this side are more similar, if you will. Kind of hard to see, but this fitting swivels, and this one actually does too. Now, what I've read on the internet is people do not use this fitting as it is. They substitute a fitting like this, and sometimes they have a couple of different ones that will work together to make that you can make up a hose and put on it. The one thing that has me a little concerned about this one is some slight damage to that leading thread right there, and again, it's hard to see because of the sunlight, so I'm hoping that will not be an issue. On this end, I think everything will fit up just right. This is an AGCO part number. It is an AGCO, Massey Ferguson is AGCO and vice versa, and I guess what I bought here was some new old stock, and that's why I got a deal on it. If I went to the AGCO dealer or the Massey Ferguson dealer, it would have probably been double in price. It was actually pretty expensive when I looked it up. So when I saw this, I decided this is a better route for me than having a hose made up. And I actually went to several places that make up hoses, and they had no idea what to do with that and what it was. And there's some info online you can find where people have swapped out the hoses. And really, if I'm going to keep this tractor long term, it would probably be some profit in replacing all of these old hoses over time. But if somebody put it to me on my 1105, I blew a hose on it a couple years ago and had to replace it. And I thought about replacing all of them, and somebody said, you know, those hoses, even when they look worn, they're still stout, and you know, if it's not critical, just run them till they burst. So might just run this one and these other ones till they burst, and save a little money, live another day. So we'll see. Let me try to put this thing on, and I'll come back. All right, so I got that fitting to screw on there, and that's a swivel, it's not loose. And I basically took one hand and held it right here kind of firmly, and then with my other hand I used this wrench to just turn it. It was just too tight, stiff to turn by hand, and I didn't force anything, and it went right up in there. Now, one thing I did, I know some people, when you talk about John Deere, they drive a John Deere tractor and they'll say, you know, I used a John Deere today, and I had to take a shower. But in any event, I had my John Deere baseball cap on, But in order to get in here, I had to kick it over there to the side so I could crawl down in this space with my body, and that's when it went on. So I don't know, wouldn't go on when I had that, when I was wearing that. Went right on when I quit wearing it. So I'm around here on the other side of the tractor, and just kind of looking to see where I need to fish that hose through. And right there's the fitting that it's got a screw on, and it's pointing right through that gap right there. So I'm gonna try to fish that thing through without getting debris in it. I'll probably cover it up and bring it through and try to screw it on that fitting, and then I think we're cooking with gas. So what I have here is the bag that hose came in, and since I never have what I really need, I'm just going to slip that over the hose and wrap it around as best I can and jam the bag and the hose up through there. I'll come back. So here goes. I'll come back. Fishing it through without trying to knock any wires loose, and of course this stupid cord to the block heater I put on in my other video, it was right in the way, but we'll get there. Victory. We got it. Let me try to hook this thing up to that fitting right there, and I'll come right back. Oh boy, sometimes you gotta work upside down to make things fit. See if I can get that thread started, and I'll come back. Victory, I got it up on there. It's just kind of hand tight, and of course the wrench I need to use is up on the hood of the tractor. So let me pry myself out from under this tractor, tighten that down, and I think we've got a repair. Next up is to put some hydraulic oil in it. See what I got. Not quite as difficult as climbing up on the farmall, but it does exercise a few muscles in the body to get upright again. So when I bought this tractor, obviously it had the loader with it, and I ordered the manuals for the loader from AGCO. Before I go any further, I've replaced this hose, which you've seen, and the question begs, what will I do with this hose? And the answer is, I'll keep it. I keep a lot of stuff, and sometimes if it's looks like they're going to discontinue something, my brother and I will buy 5 of them just in case they discontinue whatever trinket it is. And the goal here is to let the estate sort through all of it when it's over. But I do have a manual, and I got the owner's manual, the operator's manual, and then the parts book, and quite a bit of info here. But I won't bore you with the contents of the manual, but basically this breather comes off, and I got to clean it, and there's a dipstick. I was wondering, because I don't want to drain all the fluid out that's left in it, and I just want to top it off with the fluid that was lost. So evidently there's a dipstick under here. I've never checked it, shame on me, but it is my tractor. I'll do what as I wish. So I'm gonna pull that off, clean it up, pull that off, check the level, and start adding fluid and till it comes up, and then see if we can get this thing started and the loader lifting. So I guess if this was supposed to come off with the cap, it didn't quite work out that way, and underneath here there's like a stick in addition to a filter there and a gasket. Let me clean that up, and I'm assuming that That right there is the dipstick. See if I can get it out of there. Well, I pulled this fitting off and that ain't it. But it looks like there's something down in there. I don't know if you can see that. That little pin that goes across, it's pegged right in here. And then it looks like there's something hanging off of it. So I'm going to take this off and see what I got. Alright, to get this thing off, I need a wrench a little bigger than what I got here. I think I got one over here in this box. There's my John Deere hat. I was planning on taking a shower whether I fooled around with a John Deere or not. Whoop! Chop my hand off. Alright. Not too tight. Let me work with this some and I'll come back. Alright, hopefully there's something hanging down that resembles a dipstick in here. Gosh, that's a lot of threads that or it's not going to come out. There it comes. Daggone. Look at that. There's the dipstick. So I would say that it's definitely low, but it is on the dipstick. So let me add some back. Wonderful. So the manual here calls for type A transmission fluid, which obviously you can't buy anymore. And I think the direct replacement for that is Dextron 3, but just kind of taking a page out of IP Farms, penny on the dollar here. I've got some of this viscosity. I like viscosity brand oils and transmission hydraulic fluid. And I've got some of this left over from when I blew a hose on my Massey 1105, and since this is a separate reservoir with a front mounted pump, what I've read online is it's probably going to be more tolerant of different fluids. This happens to be a 10W30 fluid, not a 10 weight or a 20 weight, and so I think it'll be all right. Kind of feel like if it'll run through the internals on the 1105, it's probably okay on this loader. And I even read somewhere that some people will just put straight motor oil, 10W30, 10 weight oil, whatever. It's not even transmission type fluids, hydraulic fluids in some of these old loaders. But I'm going to find out. Probably should use a funnel for this exercise. This is a hyper tough funnel, quick funnel, whatever that means. Now I did not buy this funnel because it's hyper tough. I bought it because it was cheap. Let me put some hydraulic oil in this loader. Alright, so I dumped what was left in that bucket. It's probably, I don't know, that much full, and just going to kind of let it settle out here. It's definitely thicker than oil I'm used to seeing, because I change oil in my Honda CRV farm truck, and it takes 0W20, and you know, that stuff is like pouring water. My big fear in all of this is that the pump won't prime, so I'm hopeful that this will work out. Alright, so I checked it and I think I got plenty, but it's going to need to run through the system and I'll have to check it again. But I think I want to try to run this tractor and let it flood the whole system with hydraulic oil, and then I'll check it again. I'm about to lose the daylight here, even though it's daylight savings time, and so I want to just try to have some results here before I call it a day. Let me put this back together and I'll come back. Alright, so I've got this stuff snug down. This is going to need some attention. Probably need to rebuild that whole setup, but I am glad there's a dipstick. Let me clear my tools and just see if we can get this thing started. So I probably needed to add some coolant, which I'm doing. I got Fleet Guard head. I've got Fleet Guard here, and the reason I'm using that is from a previous video. I put that coolant heater in there. I lost a little bit of fluid off the side of the block. And this is some pretty good stuff, 50-50 premix. It's heavy duty. What I like about it, 100,000 mile coolant for use in heavy duty diesel and gas engines. So, you know, if we ever put 100,000 miles on this MF50, why, we'll change it again. This thing's been sitting all winter, so if I need my jumper, I'll use it. Keep this bag too. Alright, I did have to use my jumper. The battery just didn't have enough juice in it, so left the radiator cap off. I'm not hearing anything squealing, so that's a good sign. Let me get this off and let it just run a little bit, and I'll try the loader. Fingers crossed. There's my John Deere hat. Alright, knock on wood, I'm not seeing any leaks down here. I probably should change all those hoses. And I'm not seeing any leaks down here. So let me get this hood closed, and I'll try to cycle that loader and see what I got. I don't know if you can see it or not. Front mounted pump on this tractor up there. It doesn't run off the hydraulics for the 3-point, so moment of truth. There it goes. Dang on. We got a working front end loader again. Hallelujah. Alright, so that'll be the video. Kind of back in business on the Model 50. Hope you enjoyed the video. I'll check the hydraulic fluid another day, but for now, just the fact that I can raise and lower it is a pretty big deal here on this farm. I've got other things I'm going to do on this Model 50 with the loader. There'll be videos on that coming, so stay tuned. Hit the like button, share, subscribe, comment, and we'll talk to you later. So before I conclude this video, I was joking about the Fleet Guard coolant, but I just wanted to say, and I'll have a video on some of this stuff at some point. It's been in the works for a while, I just haven't got to it. But the guy that does the repair on my 1105, he's an excellent mechanic and just an encyclopedia of knowledge. And this is where I buy my coolant and my oils, and I just feel like supporting a local I guess dealer, for the lack of a better word, instead of some mega multinational corporation that may or may not give a crap about the average Joe. And so when he says this is good oil, and Viscosity is who made Hytran for International Harvester, and they've still got the formulation, they just can't call it Hytran. This is not it, but I've got some for my Farm On 350 from Viscosity. And then the Fleet Guard, if he tells me this is what I need to use, or this is what he's selling, I buy it, no questions asked. I know I can sleep good knowing that he's putting quality lubricants and antifreeze or whatever else I need in my hands. So just thought I'd give a little plug that buy local, and I'll just leave it right there.